Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about this time? PlayStation is an Xbox, according to Xbox. So before we get started, make sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, all that good stuff. Anywho, Xbox, rumor is that the next Fable, Killer Instinct, and more will be joining Forza Horizon 5. Now, we did get confirmation that Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation 5, but the Spanish site Vandal recently posted a story about Microsoft's multi-platform strategy, and according to its sources, Killer Instinct and Starfield are likely the next couple of titles to venture outside the Xbox realm. On top of that, the outlet also claims several other games that are planned for PS5, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, and the upcoming Fable. They also report that the later Fable could possibly see a simultaneous release on all platforms. Xbox chief Phil Spencer made it crystal clear that there's no limit on which first-party titles will make the jump, and given the sheer volume of rumors and reports to the subject, it's definitely ramping up. Also, we had learned, which they officially announced too, is that some Xbox games will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think they said specifically what games, or I guess they did. Some of them, like Grounded, Sea of Thieves. Oh, no, that's the ones that came to the Switch and the PS5 earlier. So yeah, I don't think they said which ones are coming to the Switch 2. According to a leaker, Xbox might be bringing titles such as Diablo 4, Fallout 4, Halo: The Master Chief Collection, Flight Simulator, and Starfield to the Switch 2. So we do know that games are coming to the Switch 2, Xbox games. We just don't know which one specifically. There's speculation that those are the ones, but who knows? And then we do know that Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation, with the rumors that more Xbox games are coming to the PlayStation. So, like Microsoft said, PlayStation, this is an Xbox. Nintendo Switch 2, this is also an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. So why own an Xbox? So why own an Xbox? So let's go around and see what these guys think. Shane, what do you think? You look the most disappointed.
I am. I'm disappointed with Microsoft for umpteen reasons, really. This is just another pisser off. As a gamer, I don't like certain things being exclusive, and I don't like certain things being multi-platform. The reason I think Microsoft is really failing the gaming community, I mean, I know it seems like it's good for gamers in a lot of ways, but it's not, because they're giving Sony basically free reign to manipulate the console industry as they see fit, because they have no competition now. They don't. I mean, Microsoft's not in competition. Microsoft is a third-party, developer now, a publisher. They're not console makers, so they're not gonna steer the console direction as far as pricing. They're not going to steer it as far as innovation. They're not going to do that. Sony is going to have free reign to do with it. Nintendo's been out of it for decades, and that's fine, because Nintendo is, we had Microsoft to kind of keep the reins back, and vice versa. Sony, also helped guide Xbox. So that, that you have to have competition for innovation. I'm pretty sure most people understand how that works. I have no problem with, say, Master Chief Collection is going to go over to PlayStation. But PlayStation plays fair and says, all right, well, you know what? The first God of War remake, you got it. Play well together. That I'm good with. But they're not. They're just saying, look, We're a publisher now. We're a developer now. Here's stuff for your console. They're not going to have anybody to hold them back from raising prices. They're not going to have anybody to guide them into making better consoles, more powerful consoles, innovate controllers, anything like that. I think the PS5 Pro is a good example of that, about doing the minimum and trying to get the maximum. And I'm not a tech guy. I'm just looking at that purely as a gamer. I've been gaming for many, many moons. And what has kept the gaming market going is innovation, competition, and they work hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. You just can't. So I don't, like I said, I don't have a problem with, with them working together, sharing together. I would love to see a Mario game, but it'll never be a Mario game, maybe a party game or something like that, go over to Xbox. I'm okay if they play well together, but not full exclusive, not just here's all my shit, pardon my language, but that's what they're doing. And Microsoft there was an article that came out about them like being a number one publisher this quarter, or number one developer this quarter, all due to Call of Duty. Well, if Microsoft is not going to be is not going to have true exclusivity on their games anymore, why should they even bother with a console? They're just going to put it on PlayStation. They're just going to put it on Switch. They're just going to put it on PC. Why make a console? They say they're going to make another one, and they will. I think they will. And I think they'll swing for the fences. I do. I mean, Pat disagrees, but I think they'll swing for the fences on this. But I don't think they have any hope of taking any kind of market share back, because they don't have any. They've already proved they don't care about it anymore. I don't see their handheld that they've announced. I don't see that going anywhere either. I think they'd have been better off just partnering with Nintendo if they were going to do that, and just say, look, Game Pass for Switch. Here we go, baby. They might as well have just done that. I hate the ideal of Sony being the only player in the console market. Nintendo's not a console developer anymore. They make an amazing product for their games, not all games, not the Assassin's Creed. You could never put Odyssey on a Switch. I don't even know if you could put it on a Switch too. I don't know how well it'll run, but that's not a third party console, a place for third party games to go to a console. It's just really not, because they can't keep power wise. They don't keep up. So short story long, Microsoft has basically given up. Sony is going to have free reign. Sony's already announced they're going to stop making blank Blu-ray discs, which is what your games go on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. So we're going to see an all digital market next console generation. That's because they won't have competition to guide them or help push the narrative along. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If there was some quid pro quo, as the cool kids say, you could play my game, I could play your game. I'm okay with that to a point. And for the most part, but you got to have exclusivities for your console. You got to have a goddamn console. And you got to have competition, and we're losing that. So that sucks. Pat, yeah. So correct me if I was wrong anywhere in there, but I think we're going to watch the gaming market really take a hit with these steps they're making. As far as the console market, sorry, make sure I
answer. Yeah, Microsoft's next console is going to be the NVIDIA Shield. It's just going to be called the Xbox box.
X Shield.
The Xbox set top box, right? I fully fully expect them to phone it in for the next console because they're not going to be in the market or the next one after that. They're going to make an NVIDIA Shield type box after that for their streaming service.
Sorry to cut you off, but did Phil Spencer not say this next console is going to be the biggest leap, just like they did with the last generation? And it was a nice jump.
Sarah Bond said that.
Yeah.
Sarah Bond, yeah. And so, sorry, Pat, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure that I pointed that out.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, all you got to do is throw in an extra next generation RAM, and it's the most powerful because that's the truth, right? We've increased the power over the last one. Microsoft wants to. I feel Microsoft knows that their money doesn't come from the consoles, and that's where they're at. They're like, hey, our money comes from being a publisher, and then now we want to make our own. We want our Microsoft storefront to be like Steam and Epic. That's what they want. Right? They're like, we just want to publish and sell games. You know, we don't want in this market. We want people to subscribe to our streaming service. We want people to subscribe to our gaming service. But we don't want to make a console because it's not a winner for us, right? It's a loss leader for them. You know, it's how they brought people into their ecosystem. And now their ecosystem is growing. They're like, hey, we don't really need a console because it's too much trouble. It's how I feel that they look at the console because, you know, it's, I don't know how to phrase this properly, but they're like the person who knows they're dying, giving away all their shit. They're like, we're putting this here and this here because we know that the console is dying. Their version of the console is dying. Sony, once Microsoft's console is swirling the bowl, Sony will then say, okay, we'll put our stuff out everywhere because who's their competition at that time? PC. I mean, they're going to be like, we'll just do day and day release on PlayStation and PC because there won't be an Xbox. We'll release it on the Xbox store because that's where people get their game for the PC. And then, you know, Microsoft's just streaming at that point for their streaming devices. So I don't know. I know where Microsoft is going with this, and it's writing on the wall since they started saying everything's an Xbox. Because when everything's an Xbox, nothing is truly just an Xbox. Even including the non-existent Xbox. Like, I do fully expect them to put out a console, but do I expect like Xbox Series level of jump? No, I don't. I don't expect them to put that much fanfare into it. I don't expect them to really push the envelope in their console. You know, they're going to be like, they were like, hey, Sony put out a $750 console. We're going to make this thing a $750 PC. I mean, that's what they're going to do. Because at $750, you can buy an entry level gaming PC, probably a little bit higher level, but you know, $750 will get you a decent foot in the door in PC gaming. So I don't know. I hate to see this, but at the same time, Microsoft has picked their direction. And it's not with a console, it's with games. Which that's their decision. I don't think it's the right decision for all the same reasons you had mentioned, because now that we lost a competitor in the market, Sony is free to be Sony. And that means anti-gamer. You want to play this game, we get to charge the price that we want because we're the only maker of this stuff. You know, we're the only console maker out here. Sony will skirt that line to where they make just enough money on a console to keep players coming back, keep players interested, right? So whether that's $750 or $1,000 for a console, I don't know where that market's at, but they're going to keep themselves right at that line to where it's not quite cost effective to go buy a PC, but it's still more cost effective to buy the PlayStation, right? So that's where they'll end up. Which is that $1,000? Is that $750? Is that $1,200? Where's that line at? They'll know because they're going to do their market research and be like, you know, this is where we need to be, and they'll do it, and people will buy it up because at the same time, there's two different trains of thought as well amongst PC versus console gamers, right? Yes, you can go out and buy a PC from Walmart, Best Buy or whatever your electronic boutique is, or buy it from iBuyPower or Power PC or wherever the hell it might be. If you don't have an understanding of computers and you just play the game, you're going to get a virus. You're going to wreck your system. You're not going to know what to do with it. You have to pay somebody to fix it for you, right? You're going to take it to a computer repair shop. That doesn't really happen with a console, right? Because the console gets too screwed up and I've done something to it. I'll just hit the reset button on it, factory reset it, right? PCs are somewhat have that capability, with the old disk drive for the hidden OS, backup, But at the same time, it's not that user friendly. A lot of people don't know how to use it, don't know how to activate it. It used to be just as simple as you pop the old restore disk in. You remember those days? And it would just put your PC back to factory state when you got it out of the box. That stuff doesn't exist anymore. They make thumb drives for that stuff now, or you boot into the RAM drive and do what you need to do, right? So there's that market, right? There's that market of people who are not capable of doing the things they need to keep the PC running optimally. And then there are the people who, when they can't do that, the console is the best choice for them. But at what point will that person decide console is not for them, right? Because it's too expensive. And then you have the people who can do what they need to do with the PC, right? They understand the concept of the operating system, how to take care of it, what happens when you get a virus, when you get malware, how to fix it and do all this stuff. And then you need to reload an OS, whatever. You need to upgrade a component. Those people, they'll probably just own PCs. So it's just a couple of ways of looking at it. I think that Microsoft keeps Sony in check, but without Microsoft, Sony is free to run rampant in the console market. So next generation, we'll get an Xbox. After that, we'll get a set-top box. It's a streaming box for Microsoft. There won't be a console per se. It'll be the Xbox version of the NVIDIA Shield box. So, that's my thought, but
it'll be the Xbox dongle.
Yeah, it'll be the Xbox dongle. It'll be the Xbox box.
X dongle.
Now,
X
real
dongle.
quick,
Dongle
I
X.
don't. According to a couple articles I read, Xbox has never made a profit on their consoles. It's always been about
It's a
Yeah,
loss
most-
leader. It's a loss leader for them.
Yeah, most manufacturers don't, right? They usually
I
still
think
have
Sony
losses.
used to be that way, but
Sometimes they do catch up to that, but most of the time they make their money off of services, accessories, and games,
Dongles.
right? Dongles.
Yeah.
X dongles.
I believe Sony said the PS5 was their most profitable generation console.
Now, they may have sold the PS5 because I know they didn't do it with the PS4, but they may have sold the PS5 at a profit.
Yes. From my understanding, both the Xbox and the PlayStation were profitable. They were selling for a profit.
They were selling for the as a
Yeah.
profit.
yeah.
Because usually
And
they sell at
I'm
a
just
loss,
going off
or
of
they
some of these
sell,
articles. Yeah.
break even on it, or sell it at a loss
Right.
because they make it up with accessories and
Yep.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like
Right.
that.
Because it's $70 controller. That controller is
Right.
really worth $70, right?
Right.
It's
it's all
Yeah,
the
like-
haptic feedback
Yeah. Exactly.
Haptic.
or haptic,
Haptic.
maybe haptic. I don't know.
It is what but yeah, like I said, there's things that draw people, and that was Microsoft's thing and Sony's thing, right? We want you in our ecosystem, and to get you in our ecosystem, we're going to sell the console at a break-even profit point or a profit loss, or maybe a smidgen of profit, because we want you in our ecosystem. Because once we get you in our ecosystem, especially today in today's age where most games are bought digitally, they're making money when you buy the game on their storefront. I mean, that's the whole point of it. And you can't buy Sony digital games outside of their own storefront. So really, Sony's just got they've got a monopoly on that. You can't go to CD Keys and buy a PlayStation CD key and install it, but you can do that for the Xbox.
Which should
which
be
is
illegal
surprising.
as shit.
What's that? The
Being able to
monopoly on
monopolize that.
yeah.
I mean, if it's your first party, your studio, I understand that. Fine. But you shouldn't.
I should be able to buy
force
that third-party game wherever they sell
Exactly.
their game. Yeah, if they sell digital keys to their own stuff, I should be able to buy it and put it on there.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be like Steam. Steam just says we'll take your keys from anywhere. Just,
Oh yeah.
we'll let you
Steam
buy
don't
Steam
care.
keys anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, God of War, fully understand. Samurai Slut 6, like Nick buys, get it anywhere you want. I don't care. But yeah, I think that is definitely a monopoly. It is definitely a screw you to the consumer. But
Mhm.
People aren't doing nothing. So
Yep. And so, like I said, I see Microsoft phoning it in with the next console generation. They're going to be like, well, Sony did 750. We're going to do 750. So, and we're going to build this thing too. We're not going to I don't expect them to dump a massive amount of R&D into it like they did the Series X and S.
I don't think they'll let, just as a pride thing, I don't think they'll let Sony beat them on specs, or at least destroy them on specs. They might beat them a little bit, but I don't see them destroy.
They let Sony put out a mid-gen console and they didn't do it. They don't care what Sony does anymore.
I think it's because they're not going to put out a mid-gen. I think it's because they're going to put out a next gen. They're going to do it early.
I just think Microsoft doesn't care about console market anymore. That's why they were like,
I truly agree with that.
We're not doing a mid-gen bump because they did a mid-gen. They've technically done like, so, I mean, yes, they put out the Galaxy console, which I'm like, man, it's cool looking. Don't get me wrong. I like the look of the Galaxy console and everything, but there's nothing special about it. They didn't do anything to it. Right. Whereas Sony's
it's a 2 terabyte drive.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow.
I don't think that's called a bump.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's
because you could stick the thing. You could stick the expansion bay in the back.
Well,
of the
I mean, it comes with a 2 terabyte, but yeah, it also has the expansion bay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can do that to your Series X. But Sony's already put out like a couple of revisions to their first gen, and then they put out the Pro. But Sony's also been one of those, they put out like multiple versions of their console, whereas Microsoft's not always. I mean, when we got the 360, you got 360 Elite and a few other versions of the 360, but the One put out the Xbox One X for their mid-gen bump, right? Yep. And then we just got the Series, and they really didn't do anything for their mid-gen. Yep. I don't see them putting a whole lot of focus on it. I think that they're going to be like, yeah, this is what they already know what they're doing, and they're not R&Ding this crap. They're just like, this is what we're doing. Here it is. And we already know this because of the whole that whole information that came out due to their $65 billion acquisition thing. We know a lot of the details that they already had the next gen console planned out and all this. And so that to me says they were already out of the R&D phase.
But a lot of that didn't come to fruition either. A lot of that was canceled before even that trial had begun. The coffee can folders fucking Xbox, that was supposed to be a mid-gen thing, but that never came to fruition.
That was a rumor. That was not even in that. That never came out of the trial.
That was in the court thing.
I don't know.
That was that document because we talked about it.
That was the document, yeah.
The document, but Microsoft had mentioned that was only speculation, that they never actually planned that. In the document, because Phil Spencer came out and said that.
No, I mean, this has been a while back, so I apologize if I'm misspeaking, but I mean, they had a lot of detail in that. So that was something they were probably workshopping, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They didn't do it. Wasn't there like a controller thing that they talked about too in the court thing? So
I mean, somebody they mentioned they were going to come out with the Duke revision of the Duke controller, and that never happened.
Yeah, they had a new Duke come out. Actually, they had a Duke. It was an anniversary thing. Yeah, I never got one. I wanted it really bad though.
But Microsoft doesn't care about console anymore. I mean, I look and part of and the reason I say this too is that it used to be great fanfare when you were in the Xbox Insider program and they would come out with a new build. You hardly hear shit about the Xbox Insider program anymore. You don't hardly hear anything. And
are you still in that?
Yeah, there's multiple rings.
You get builds. Yeah, I'm in the
but there's not like
the smallest ring or whatever.
Yeah,
the Alpha Century one.
Yeah, there's quite a few rings of it. But it used to be every time there was this new cool feature coming out, you would hear about it. Now you don't hear jack because the features are just like, we've optimized this. Everything they normally do on a PC. It's not like, hey, cool, we added this new dashboard feature, or we're adding this, we're adding, just things along that line. And now I hardly hear anything about their different rings and what's in this ring and that ring and the cool new functions and features coming along. You hardly hear any of that crap anymore. And that just to me shows that Microsoft's slowing down on the feature functionality of their product and more optimizing it.
It could also be that they're putting more focus onto the next console. I mean,
the dashboard doesn't really change that much. That's what I'm saying.
The dashboard has changed quite a bit from console to console.
Nothing
beats the blades, but
the Xbox One X dashboard looked exactly like the Series X dashboard when I installed it. I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's a major difference, but I don't know. I have to go fire mine up just to see what it looks like now. I haven't touched it forever. But either way, I agree with you on 99%. But I don't think Microsoft is just gonna lob one home for the next
I'll just put it this way: the layout and the navigation was exactly the same. The only thing that they claim
launch,
that's exactly it, because that's how it works, right? You build a dashboard and then you bring the dashboard along with the new console. It may be quicker, snappier, and look prettier because obviously we've added fidelity to it by increasing this and that, and then you slowly build upon it and add more to it, add more features and functionality. So it's not like they should be ramping up features for their next gen and being like, we're going to make this look a little prettier and it'll slow down the dashboard. The dashboard should slow down because they're adding features and functionalities that the next gen will take advantage of, but the current gen can't quite keep up with it. And you'll notice that. But I think that Microsoft they're in that we don't give a shit anymore phase right now. They're just like, we promised we would do this and we're just going to do it. But we're not going to pour any real development dollars and hours into this.
They bought Activision to become Activision.
Yes. Yeah.
They
bought Activision to become
true.
Steam. They bought Activision to become the next Steam.
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see Game Pass come to PlayStation as well as Nintendo Switch and have it be a new tier.
Yeah.
Like for PlayStation, they got the PlayStation Premium Plus, Premium Plus, right? And then they'll have another tier, PlayStation Premium Plus,
Ultra,
Xbox Game Pass.
Plus X, yeah.
Right. And then it's even more expensive. And then Nintendo has their expansion pass, which is like $50 a year, I think. And then they'll have Game Pass, which will be $70 a year or $100 a year, right? It'll allow them to sell their subscriptions for a higher price. And then you get this extra
if you want access to the Microsoft
to the Game Pass catalog.
Yeah, like I said, I think that Microsoft's in the we don't give a shit phase right now because we're making our money on publishing and developing games.
Now, do not get me wrong. I don't think they give one iota of a shit. I don't think that at all. But I don't think they're going to lob it in. That's all I'm saying.
I think they're phoning.
Well, I think we'll find out probably next year. I think.
No, that's too quick.
Nope. I think they'll try to squeak her in just to get it out. I mean, it's already been 4 years, right?
Yeah.
5.
Console.
When did these lessons launch?
2020.
20, right?
20. Yeah, which make this will be the 5th year.
Yeah.
A normal console life cycle is 8 years.
I think but first
2020.
We've gone as short as 7 years before.
Xbox to 360 was only 3 or 4.
Well, it was the Xbox. Was it the 360? I think was 10 years, right?
Yeah,
the 360 was like a 10-year console cycle.
Yeah, we've got as short as 7 years. I think is the shortest.
Well, see, I think the Xbox to 360 was shorter than that. I really want to say it was only 4 years.
The Wii U was the shortest
because the original Xbox came out extremely
in 2001.
Yeah, the Wii U had a half an hour life cycle. It made Pikmin, and that was about it.
So the 360. So yeah, that was a 4 year, 5 year release.
5 year, okay.
Yeah, it was.
I knew it was short.
5 years.
But no, and I'm not saying. I'm saying we'll hear about it. I'm not saying it'll be out for time we hear about it to be a year. So, but now, anyways, PlayStation getting Xbox games, Xbox not getting any games. They've given up. So that's the short story along of it. They're a publisher now. They're the home of Call of Duty. I mean, that's pretty much it.
They're the home of all things digital. We sell games. We sell games on everything.
Yep.
You
And
know?
it makes me really worried about what Sony's going to look like in a couple of years. I mean, I'm already worried about Sony now, because some of the stuff they say and do. So.
And the original to the 360 was 4 years. That's a short time.
Was it 4?
4,
So I
because
said
the
5.
2021 or 2001 is when the original one came out, and then
Yeah.
2005 is whenever the 360 launched.
Yeah.
That was a short stint.
Yeah, but it did come out quite a bit after the PS5. So, it's PS5. Holy shit!
I'm like, wow.
The PS2. Excuse me. But
PS3, right? I think they were in competition with PS3. The 360.
360 and the 3 were, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking about
you're talking about the original
Xbox launched. It came out quite a bit after the PS2. But
yeah.
But what makes me really angry and sad is the fact that how innovative and kick-ass the original Xbox was, and it failed. I mean, Microsoft failed. Excuse me. I don't think the console truly
The 360 was an awesome machine.
Wasn't it their
besides the
best-selling
rendering
console as well?
And after that, they just screwed the pooch from that point on.
Yep. They went greed. I mean, they PS3'd they
went Don Matrick.
Xbox One, and they never could recover. At least Microsoft found a way to recover from the PS3 launch.
They could have with the series, but they screwed that up too with the Series S and X and the parity system between the two, as well as with the expansion of the additional. Sony had the right idea there, being able to just go out and buy an SSD off the market, off the shelf, instead of having proprietary, because those are still expensive as hell. Right.
Yeah,
and it's not that hard to open the case and get to the drive bays or to the SSD bay. It's not that hard to get there and put an SSD in your PlayStation. So Microsoft could have done the same exact thing. And I think that would have been a better route for them to do, because they would have had more options and it would have been cheaper for people to go out and buy that instead of waiting for Seagate or Western Digital to put theirs on sale every, 6 months or whatever. That gets sold out like immediately.
Yep. I don't know. I'm worried about the future of console gaming completely. I really am.
That's why I have moved away from Game Pass. I don't have a Game Pass subscription. I don't want one. I don't even think it's. I moved back over to my PC.
I think the whole.
I have Game Pass for Xbox or for PC.
I don't care.
I think the whole model of console
it's not
gaming
worth it.
is just it's going down the drain. I really do, but I
just don't have it for console, but I have it for Xbox Game Pass for PC, because they do launch some titles because Ninja Gaiden Black was on there, so I was glad I had Game Pass because I wanted to play that, and I did. And then Eternal Strands came out, which I wanted to play that. It looked interesting, so I've been playing that. And then the new Sniper Elite just came out, so I'm like, cool, it's got co-op. I want to play it with my friends. I can only play with one of them because the other one doesn't have Game Pass. So, yeah. And then Avowed comes out later, and that's going to come to Game Pass, and I want to play that too. So I'd rather have the subscription than buy these outright. It's cheaper for me in that regard. But once they start not putting games out on Game Pass that are worth a damn that I want to play, then I'll look at it like, okay, I'll cancel it until something comes out that I'm actually interested in playing. So it just depends on what titles they have. But yeah, I mean, to kind of sum up everything, I agree with you guys. I don't think, I think Microsoft's next console will be, I think more in line with what Pat was saying. It's going to be like just I don't know. Sarah Bond said it was a graphical, like the most leap bounding thing ever. I don't know. It's going to be a black hole that you buy, I guess, a wormhole. You can get transported into some time and space.
I mean, you can say that if you jump from a 3050 to a 4060.
Right. Or because last time it was like we up the teraflops, and then it's like, all right, yeah, it's
what was it, 12 to 16 or 12 to 15 from the series. From the 1X, which was 12 or 6 teraflops, and then the series has 15 or 16 or some. stuff like that.
So the One X had 6, and the Series X
It has 12.
Probably 12.
has 12. Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
double.
they're going to
So
go
we're gonna
to
have
like,
24
what, 32,
teraflops.
or they're going to go by
24.
6.
So flops.
24
Or they go
teraflops.
by
teraflops.
24.
We'll double it. We'll double it.
Yeah,
And
double it.
that meets the needs, right?
Yeah.
So flops are the new bits.
Yep. How many flops you got?
And then Microsoft's got
Got a lot of flops.
They
I
got a
know
lot of
that goddamn
flops.
much.
Not a lot of anything else but flops.
Yep.
But I mean, yes, they have turned into a publishing arm, right? I mean, and that makes them the most money. So it makes sense for them to, the console, unfortunately for them, the console market just did not work out for them. So they decided to go the way of Sega and all those other ones that have in the past, and went to just publishing, right? Because what you said, I think at the beginning, Microsoft made like they were the number one publisher for the quarter or whatever it was, or the month or whatever it was. And they'll probably continue to be that way, especially if they start putting things on Switch and on PlayStation and stuff like that. Their games are going to sell like hotcakes, right? Because people on PlayStation want to sell those or want to buy those games and stuff. But that does get rid of you as a consumer saying, you ask yourself the question, then why do I need an Xbox? Well, the answer is you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
Yep.
Especially when their whole Game Pass scheme makes absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever, right? Because they offer Game Pass in 4 flavors?
Yeah, 4.
Yep, you have like core, standard, PC, and ultimate. And freaking PC is cheaper than standard, and standard doesn't even come with freaking day one games. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like I've got a closed ecosystem and I charge you more for Game Pass on, but you don't get day one releases, but I'll give it to you on PC for a couple dollars cheaper per month, and you get day one releases.
It's $12 on PC. Yeah. And it's $20 for Ultimate, which is what you would have to have.
But it's $15 for standard, is what I'm saying. Standard console.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have core and you have standard, right? And core doesn't even, core. Really, core, I think of it as like the old Xbox Live replacement, except for you have a small catalog of games you can play, and then you get online multiplayer, right? And then with standard, all you do is get an increased freaking library of games every month, and that's the only real difference, right? You don't get day one release games on standard, and I'm like, so the only way for me to get day one games is to buy Ultimate for $20, and I'm
on the console.
On the console, yeah.
Console.
You're being punished for having a console, right?
Yeah,
if I want day one games, I need to pay you $20 on console. If I want day one games on PC, I'm just paying you $12. So
Microsoft is very smart with Game Pass, though, because if you think about it, they hooked us.
They hooked you guys because I'm out.
No, they hooked you at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning, but then they did their whole price.
But no, that's what I'm getting at.
Why
they got a lot of people hooked, and there are some people that are just not going to give it up right now, and they may never give it up.
They won't, because they had a 30% subscriber increase, according to them last month, right? 30% increase.
Yeah.
So,
but now that was last month. So I want to know what their cancellation rate is this month. Because what games come
Christmas is over. And Christmas is over. People bought the game for their kids and console. And now Christmas is over.
Yep. They bought it for Indiana Jones. They bought it for Call of Duty. But unfortunately and fortunately, they've got some hopeful bangers coming out here. And a nice consecutive order. I mean, like Nick just listed off. Sniper Elite, it's may not be a system seller, but it's always a fun series. But Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, me and Nick just both beat it, and that game's freaking awesome. And it looked really, really good for 20-plus-year-old game. So I don't know. I agree with you guys. I don't think Microsoft gives a shit about consoles anymore. They are focused purely on subscription services and being a publisher and developer. So, I don't know. Nick, get us home, buddy.
Yep, taking us home. We're ending this stuff. If you're still awake, thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know down in the comments what you all think. Other than that, again, if you're not subscribed, helps out. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video if you enjoyed this video. hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. We'll see you next time.
See ya.